Bitcoiner coming back to you again today. Hope you guys are doing well and taking care of yourselves. So, actually, there's not much to talk about, as I'm sure you guys have noticed. Just wanted to get something out here um, and just talk about a couple things. Uh, First, let's just take a look at the markets. We know it's things have been very red over the last few days, right? Over these holidays. Now, which is, I mean, this is expected. People are doing their thing. They're not trading really, so totally not unexpected. We did get a little bit of a fake out today. Things started looking like they were going to go somewhere, and just went right back down. So, if any of you guys feel like you're not fully, in the right position, or if you want to add to your position, I think this is a perfect time. Now we could go a little bit lower because personally I don't think even after the first, now we might get a little bit of hope that kind of pumps into the market, but I don't think we're going to start just yet. I don't think anything, now it could be wrong, don't get me wrong. Now it could be wrong. But I don't think anything's going to happen this week, even after the first. People are still not back from the holidays, all of that stuff. Usually, what I noticed is things don't really start to get active until the first full week, after the holidays, and when people get back to work. So I don't think we should really expect anything. Possibly with the new year coming in, a little bit of excitement about what can come. We might see a little bit, but it's going to be pretty volatile. Just my own opinion. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so just take this as entertainment value. All right. The one thing I think we kind of need to pay attention to is January 15th. This is the deadline for the SEC. And not that it is something that we need to be concerned about, really, because, I mean, look, we have a pro crypto administration coming in. The new leader over at the SEC is fully pro crypto. So I don't think we have anything to worry about as far as that goes. I think the 15th could possibly be either the peak or close to it once we get there. And I've mentioned this. I mentioned this in my last video, I think it was, that this is going to be, I think, up till Trump's inauguration, it's going to be more of a buy the rumors, sell the news situation. So, like right before or right after the inauguration or that day, we could see a pretty significant drop. Now, are we going to hit $10 by then? Who knows? We're really, it's really hard to tell. We're not extremely far from the halving, but if we look at what happened in 2021, by this time, there were no like significant pumps. Like we were starting to go into it, but we've already had a very significant pump uh, at this point, which was what, November, so or early December. So yeah, it's really hard to say, but I personally think it's very possible we could get some crazy numbers by the 20th. Okay, that's just, again, just my opinion. And I think it's possible that we're going to see another like all-time high this year. Later on, possibly the spring or maybe fall or the beginning of fall, somewhere around there. I think it's very possible. I think we have to go through some chop or some kind of hard times here coming up. In that meantime, because I mean, there's a lot of work to do, and depending on what happens between the first and the 20th, Um, I mean, yeah, there could be a lot to deal with in this coming what's coming. Um, I I'll be honest with you. I've heard a lot of crazy things. I mean, we've already had the drone thing. Now we got the whole fog situation. We got uh, the threat of another pandemic, and all these different things. If anything significant were to happen, it could be considered a black swan event, and it could totally this. It could totally derail everything we're expecting. I don't think that there's going to be a major event. Now, the definition of a black swan is that nobody is expecting it, right? So we don't know, but I just don't think it's going to happen right now. We could see something like that later on in the year, but we'll let that take care of itself. So, other some other things. Well, actually, let me kind of get into this a little bit. I just wanted to read this section. It says the SEC appeal filing looms, leaving XRP investors on edge. The ongoing debate underscores the case's complexities. The SEC could address perceived evidentiary shortcomings in its appeal-related opening brief, so they know they don't have any real evidence. I mean, most likely it's going to get thrown out anyway without the SEC or the new SEC boss coming in, coming in to do anything. But we'll see. The SEC must file its opening brief by January 15th. The January 15th deadline and will give investors an understanding of whether the agency has sufficient evidence to overturn the rulings, which we know they don't. For XRP investors, the programmatic sales of XRP ruling is significant. In July 2023, Judge Annalisa Torres ruled that programmatic sales of XRP did not satisfy the third prong of the Howey test. And the SEC, if the SEC, if, if the SEC successfully appeals, XRP may fall under its regulatory purview. This would likely lead to U.S. crypto exchanges delisting XRP to avoid violating U.S. securities laws. Demand for XRP would likely materially weaken in such a scenario. XRP remains priced above $2 by. Okay, so yeah, this sounds very scary. It sounds concerning, but again, we have a pro crypto administration coming in, and there is no way this would ever stand. And to be honest with you, they don't have the evidence anyway. They just don't have it. So, nothing to be concerned about. Let's go ahead and move on. I'm just going to go back to the market here. I just wanted to say a couple things to you guys. And I know most of you probably already heard these things, but sometimes it's good to hear it, just to have someone say it again, because these are kind of some fundamentals of life, right? Sometimes we get caught up in all of the craziness that's going on in the world, but it takes those of us who are level-headed, who are logically thinking, who are critical thinkers, to make sure things move smoothly along. So, number one, now this is how I kind of handle my life, right? My priorities are set in this way, and it might sound a little funny to you, but I'll explain it. Number one, of course, is God, Creator. Obviously, the way I feel is, if not for Him, we wouldn't be here anyway. So, number one. Number two is your finances, the success you have, all of that. So, I know some of you might have said family. Well, the reason being is it's kind of like crabs in a bucket, right? If one crab is trying to get out, generally he's not going to be successful because all the other crabs are pulling him back in, and that's family for the most part. Now, we love our families and all of that, but I mean, there are no bigger controversies or conflicts than within the family. So, one thing we cannot do, we can't get wrapped up too much into that, because if we're not helping ourselves, we're not positioning ourselves properly, we're not going to be able to help family anyway. So, that's why family is, in my book, when you're dealing with the world, family's last. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Secondly, always have a goal. And, well, I'll get to that in a second. Always have a goal. I don't care what it is. And it doesn't have to be like financial. It doesn't have to be any one thing. But when you set goals for yourself, you keep yourself active. You keep yourself challenged, whether it's a physical, fitness, or if it is financial, or if it is something that you want, something, whatever it might be. Always have a goal, and don't necessarily share it with anybody. Some goals you can share with people, with your closest, but some goals, just keep it to yourself. Not everybody needs to know what you're trying to achieve, because sometimes, people, they get a little jealous depending on how they're feeling about themselves. Okay, so just make sure you always have a goal. Just keep that in mind. Number two, and this is an extremely important part, right, of life, because if you can master this, it seems like it's easy, but if you can master this, it will always keep you um, at least striving to be on the right path, and that is staying positive. Always stay positive. I don't care what the scenario is, always stay positive. Try to find a way to be to have a positive outlook for any situation, even if it is a failure. There's always something that you can take from it, and just being positive will help you with stress levels. It'll help you just with relationships. It'll help you achieve the goals that you set for yourself. Remain positive. It's a better way to go than uh, than thinking and speaking to yourself negatively, and that's, I guess, the main part of it. Speak to yourself positively all the time. Self speak is extremely important. You got to do it positively. Now, the last thing is, what if you fail? Well, we all fail. It's going to happen. And you can't get consumed by failure. It's going to happen no matter what you do. There's always going to be some type of failure that you run up against. It's just going to happen. So just look at failure as a lesson, and understand that at least the thing that you can take from it, as I mentioned before, is that you would never have to repeat that failure again, because you know. So also, failure builds character. It helps to humble us, because if you're winning all the time, you're never losing, we tend to get arrogant. So take that failure, learn from it, humble yourself, and keep on working, keep on striving, because life ain't over till it's over. So those are my points I wanted to make. I hope this was helpful in at least a small amount. Again, not a whole lot to talk about just yet. I think uh, the good times are very, very near. And another thing too is there are some interesting accounts out there. There's one account called Dr. Prophet, I think it is. And I was listening to the guy that used to have the not making, the Modern Investor channel. Yeah, I forgot his new channel name, But he mentioned something about Dr. Profit, and I was like, you know what, let me check that out. Great stuff. I haven't gotten a chance to really go through everything that he's put out there, but really, really good stuff that he's talked about. And to be honest with you, a lot of what I've said, it goes, he basically says the same thing. It was very close. And I think a lot of people are seeing the same thing because by now, after so many years being in crypto, it's kind of hard to miss these cycles and how things are, it's just it's hard to overlook just the way things happen in crypto. People get scared, they start to sell, and just like right now, people are selling like crazy, and the bull run's not even over yet. We haven't even gotten to the really good part. Okay, one thing this Dr. Profit said was that XRP could hit anywhere between $16 and $20, and that's what I was saying. Why? I know his reason is very different from mine, but I'm looking at the last bull run. XRP didn't hit its full potential, and I think we still have ground to make up. So that ground, honestly, I think it's possible. I thought it was possible to get to $30 per XRP, but that may not be quite there simply because there's so many other projects in play. I think the market share that XRP should have, it didn't actually get to. Now, not to discount the RLUSD, that helps, and then the fact that we're getting that amount of burned XRP that's happening. It's like over 13 million XRP that's been burned by this, at this point. So I don't know. It's a lot of stuff ahead. USDT's been delisted, but I mean they're big. They got plenty of money. They're not going anywhere. They're just gonna, kind of redo things, I'm sure. But there's still that market share that's open to, whatever takers. So RLUSD could be one of the ones that gets in there and kind of fights it out. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button, also the subscribe button, as well as the post notification button. And until next time, this has been Mr. Free Coiner. Take care of yourselves, and God bless.